Oh, yes, it's part 2 of White Ra being a boss in HotS PvP. One thing I have to note right off the bat is that tragically the mothership core will no longer have that detection in the opening stage. Fortunately, pretty much all we're going to talk about today doesn't worry about that. In part 1, we basically talked a lot about the mothership core and the timings, particularly how we end up defending ourselves when we expand. And now we're going to look at some air openings that make me kind of... yeah. I want to begin with a game that I would describe as ugly. Then we're going to get to a slightly prettier game, and then we're going to look at one that I just found totally bejugular. Oh my god, this was... Game 3 is amazing. Game 3 that we're going to see is... all those other motions of just delight and pleasure. All of them apply to that game. Not this one. This one's just like a... This one's gross. Alright, we have White Ra. By the way, I keep doing this little flick because I swear, if these colors don't match up at the top... See what's like green White Ra and he's like blue here? Oh, that makes me just go insane. So, once again, we want to talk about things like what are the possibilities that we are seeing, etc. I know you guys want to see the Oracle, so don't worry, here it's going to come up today in this very here game. So White Ra is doing yet again a sort of typical looking opening without a lot of scouting. Going for a relatively early second assimilator. I much prefer to go 15 assimilator, 16 assimilator with 2 in each if I am going for an early double gas. I much prefer that. So, let me back up just a bit. White Ra is doing something that's a little bold. He hasn't seen anything. He hasn't seen any probe come in his path. As you can see, BabyKnight himself is just sort of locked in to his home base, chilling. So White Ra is doing something that is just very, very bold. Very, very super bold. He is going to go ahead and build a Stargate right away. I generally don't like this. Something that is quite nice is that as we're approaching the ramp, we can see, oh yeah, a Zealot's been built. We can scout in here and see, oh yeah, I know what's going on in this base, because there's no way he can possibly have a unit out with range at this point in time. So that's... I suppose you could justify why it's not terrible to go for Stargate right away. Plus, if we get ourselves an Oracle quickly enough, we can defend against almost any aggression we see. And in fact, if we got in here and did see a number of gateways, I'd probably just instantly chrono boost out a Stalker. Or if I came in here and I saw, wow, look at that, no second gas, I'd probably instantly chrono boost a Stalker. But White Ra is actually hanging out here so he can see, is it Stalker or Sentry? He sees it is Sentry. So, this is again the sign of non-aggression from the opponent of White Ra. He's going for this nice little generic defense, Zealot Sentry. You can go Zealot Sentry, nothing. Just literally go for a Zealot and then go for a Sentry, and you're pretty much fine against anything. Anything small. A non-aggressive player who's not going for 4 if you have Zealot Sentry, it's not going to be a problem. Now we're really starting to see economically why I don't like rushing for the Oracle, because it's finished. We don't have enough money. Now, I know some of you are saying, but Sean, look, we got 300 experience points for building that Stargate, but I want to remind you, we don't play StarCraft for XP. I really like XP. I'm not going to lie, the XP system is awesome, but XP never excuses badness. And in fact, next time I play a mono battle, I think I'm going to be going for an experience maximizing build. I got the most XP. Oh god, that's so good. It's like karma on Reddit. Karma doesn't matter, you guys! It fucking matters. It totally matters. It matters to me. Alright, cool, whatever. So, we see White Ra going for an Oracle. Now, in a generic sense, I don't abhor this, but I would say that I kind of dislike this. Why is that? Because if our opponent went for a Phoenix, we get blown out. If we go to this amazing tech tree, and we look at, oops, not that, the Oracle. The Oracle has a move speed of 3.38. The Phoenix has a move speed of 4.25. All you need to know is that Phoenixes are faster than Oracles. If our opponent went for air, which is entirely reasonable because we saw sentries at the start, then White Ra will just get frickin' blown out. He'll just lose his Oracle and then suddenly be on the back defensive footing. So we're seeing White Ra trying to make extended use of this Stargate. And it's not that it won't work in this circumstance, it's that it's not clear what the hell our opponent's doing. We have no idea. I mean, for instance, I don't mind if White Ra pokes up here and sees that there's an expansion, and then goes, ah, I have a plan now, man. But everything leading up to this has not known that. Has not known that at all. Now, this is where I want to stop and step into some weird logic for a moment. Let's assume we did know our opponent is early expanding. We don't. We really have no freaking clue at all. But if we did know, White Ra's going to do something that's awesome. It's freaking awesome. Now, this is I want to emphasize this to all the wonderful new StarCraft players who are perhaps tuning in for the first time. Hello, welcome. There's this feeling that, especially like a lot of my buddies who picked up StarCraft 2 when it first came out, something that is good because he wound up doing something weak against it does not mean you should keep doing it. In other words, going for this air build we're going to see, it's going to work great against BabyKnight. That doesn't mean you should just go for it all the time. Because if BabyKnight, again, built a Phoenix, we'd be freaking upset and dead. However, almost all early expand builds that people are experimenting with in this game, such as the one we're seeing BabyKnight perform, even hell, wow, look at this, getting an robo facility before the mothership core. Wow, this totally sucks against an Oracle. Like, look at this bad boy, swinging on in. We're killing all them duders. Now, there are 3 sentries, actually 4 sentries, versus 1 Oracle. Alright, there goes 1, there goes 2, there goes 3, and you can actually get that 4th as long as you're target firing properly. So there's the ooh from BabyKnight. Yeah, it works out frickin' gnarly good. Frickin' gnarly good. In the meantime, White Ra is just going for a generic 3-gate. We're actually going to go ahead and go back to the White Ra vision and see him perform this really suave little attack. This really boss-ass little attack. Again, when people open up for a Stargate, they're generally going to be going for Phoenixes. And if they want to do the huge bust, they go for Phoenix Gateway. Here, White Ra's actually going for Void Ray Gateway units, plus 1 Oracle. This is a really sweet tactic I'm sure we're going to see more of. You heard me say that Zealot, or Zealot Archon Void Ray, is becoming a popular mid and late game composition. Well, we can do attacks like this, that as attacks they might work, but more importantly, in terms of our composition, we're already starting down the path of that. And here's a nice little tactic, right? We can do these attacks, we can charge up and target fire what is the worst unit for us. Maybe it's the sentries, maybe it's the immortals. We can just target fire whatever we want thanks to this prismatic alignment, which is basically go full charge. We're in really excellent shape. But more importantly, if our opponent is distracted in one place, a single Oracle at the back is one of the most wicked good tactics frickin' ever. 8, 9. Now there's some micro going on up there, but yeah. 20 kills, no problem. So, I would describe this situation for BabyKnight as bad. This is looking quite bad for him. And White Ra will exploit the badness of this position to gobble up some more ladder points. And of course, earn additional XP from building more oracles. At this point, it doesn't really matter what White Ra is going to do. He's just gonna roll on over to front. Oracle just showing up, making a cameo appearance for death. And there's a good game well played. So I would describe that as an incidentally amazing play against BabyKnight. Assuming the opponent does early expand, we can kill off a lot of sentries early on with the Oracle. Oops. However, I am of the opinion that if for some reason BabyKnight didn't open with an expand, that Oracle could have been just the worst decision ever. What if our opponent was going for Blink Stalkers and we flew in the back and he just like had Stalkers there and we had to go away? Well, actually that's not that bad, because then when he tries to attack us, we go frickin' kill all his stuff. But I think the important thing is that we don't really do that amazingly against a Blink Stalker player, and we do frickin' bad against a Phoenixing player. We actually just get blown out entirely. So what I want to do is I want to look at a game where I think White Rot does a really nice opening and gets himself into a nice position. It's not the nicest that we've seen. It's not going to be the most beautiful thing ever, because we're going to see some botchedness step on in. It's loading. It's a loading. Here it is. Rehigh. Good game. Good luck. White Rot is going up against Baby K. Yet again, we love BabyKnight. Yes, we do. Go BabyKnight. 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 White Raw is going to do a little bit more tempered of an opening, not as not as ape shit. Oh my God, let's build the Stargate right away. He's going for Gateway, and then we're actually going to see him go Stalker, Warp Gate right away, which I love. Very typical looking opening from White Raw. We see a Cybernetics core join in the fun, as well as a second gas geyser. He is yet again scouting an opponent, seeing what the enemy is up to very early, seeing Chrono Boosts going down on the Nexus. We'll see a Zealot pop out in a moment. So White Raw just calmly goes Stalker, Warp Gate, Pylon, not rushing for that Stargate by any chance. And kind of different from most Protosses, White Raw actually stays in there the whole time just to make sure that he is going to be up against someone who's going Sentry or Stalker. He gets to see very clearly. So, White Raw is going to get a Stargate. Very sensible. Very raisonnable. However, we're not positive if our opponent is going to be doing some sort of expand, or if he's going to be doing some sort of Robo or Phoenix. We don't really know. So this is why I like this opening a little bit more. Phoenix from White Raw and Mothership Core from White Raw. So that way he can photon overcharge. Stalker, why is the Stalker moving forward? Because it saw a sentry. It frickin' saw the dang sentry. And White Raw gets the most obvious signal that there's an expand, a bunch of units positioned on the low ground, and 3 sentries. This is one of these, gotta know a good amount about StarCraft, know your timings to know this. Why is this a signal for an early expand? Because he went 1 gate, we saw the 1 gate when we were scouting, and now we see a lot of sentries. He has to have been constantly building sentries out of his gateway. If he's constantly building sentries out of his gateway, that eats into his ability to do pretty much anything else with his gas. So, the only thing that makes sense is an expand. He could be going 3 sentries into 4 gates, but we don't consider that because it's bad. I'm really into the word bad nowadays, and bad is a good word to describe. Rush for 4 sentries, then go 4 gate. So this is a nice position for White Raw to be in, where he's seeing this, and this is again an indication of an early expander. Early expander. Oh, by the way, just to let you know that it happens to everyone. Guys, it happens to everyone. BabyKnight, considered to be one of the best foreigners nowadays. Happens to everyone. Happens to everyone. Even getting a little XD action. White Ra electing to type in the happy face before microing back his Stalker. Happens to everyone. So, we open with these two Phoenixes. Not going to do like an obliterating amount of damage in the way that an Oracle might, but we still get clear sense of what's up. We still have a nice target in the mothership core, and we can still do the very normal type of damage by going Phoenixes. And White Ra also has himself up the early expand. And they're saying they hope the European server is up soon, so that way they don't have to deal with as much lag. But cool, White Ra just resumes his normal transitional path. Here is the Oracle coming up. We get to do these lifts. These are very difficult for BabyKnight to deal with because he probably has almost no Stalkers. He's probably relying largely on sentries, and we can just run away from that. And we have this Oracle to do that good old harassment. It's another way of saying we're going to chill out at home, have ourselves a good time, and if you ever try to leave your base, I'm going to hurt you. And look at all that XP we're getting. Yeah. And at this point, White Ra has killed off 14 workers. And the units lost tab is looking very good for him. And hey, what do you know? These are the first 3 other gateway units we've been building from these 3 gateways. And we're just kind of going for a robo facility now. Upgrades. We even have this gas geyser up. This position looks amazing. Freaking unbelievable for White Ra. BabyKnight's going to mount an attack. There's even going to be a loss on that first Immortal. However, Phoenix is great against the mothership core. We have our Cannon Nexus, which we said it buys time. It doesn't guarantee that you are defended, but it's going to buy enough time to get this second Immortal out. And as we see, that's exactly when BabyKnight is coming back to attack. He waited a minute. Did the killing go on just then? Yeah, I actually want to come back to right when this attack was coming up. This is one of the raddest aspects of the Oracle, is that now, yeah. This Oracle can just sort of whip around and deal mass damage to worker lines while we're away. I'm pretty sure it was this one. I'm hoping I'm remembering this right. Yeah. So we had that attack poised outside the front, just warp in, kill off a few dudes, and pull back again. And here's that attack that we saw once again. Now here's one of these moments where I emphasize the importance of a logical transition structure. Because we've built this robo facility for defense, and because we're seeing a lot of Stalkers, both in here and at the front, we should continue building Immortals. White Ra then tries to perform a transition back to this Void Ray Zealot Archon thing that we've been talking quite a bit about. Gets a little overeager, loses that. That happens sometimes. But look at this. Has stopped the robo production for a good long while. Going in a few too many different directions. And BabyKnight literally just continues to build gateway units. No fancy Heart of the Swarmness, just keeps making the basic gateway units. And a Void Ray is not going to be nearly as good as an Immortal. I think White Ra was maybe a little bit too far forward there, but, you know, just building 2 more gateways and continuing the Immortal production. This actually ends up costing White Ra the game. And we once again see that even though mothership cores are freaking awesome, they don't solve all our problems for us. Once it runs out, just overwhelming numbers of dudes can win the game for us. And there's the good game. So, I liked that game because I think it was a little bit more calm, a little bit more tempered of an opening from White Ra. I think that he got himself into an amazing position. And especially was using these oracles really, really wisely and exploiting this early expanding player really wisely. But tried to transition over to the Void Rays, which I think were unnecessary in that circumstance. Before the break, this is what we're going to do. I want to show you an absolutely gorgeous game from White Raw. It's beautiful. And then we're going to watch the redemption story in part 3 of White Raw using that build and failing, but coming back using ballerness. Where is that last game? I'm pretty sure this is it. Fantastic. This game is just... We've been seeing out of White Raw choices to early expand. We've also seen him trying to both expand and get up a Swift Mothership core and Swift Air. The good old Protoss trifecta, getting all the new stuffs, expands Mothership cores and Stargates. Notice how funny it is that I call expanding a new Heart of the Swarm feature in Protoss vs. Protoss. LOLs! But yeah, White Rock doing this nice, good, standard looking thing. But look, a Zealot. Electing to build the Zealot. Chrono boosting of the Cybernetics core variety. A Stalker coming out. Continued chrono boosting here. Zealot kind of chilling. Now watch this. This is amazing. Stargate pops out. What's the next unit that's going to go down? It's going to be a Sentry. This is all blind from White Raw, yet everything we're about to see is a really cutesy combination of White Raw just seeing stuff. So White Raw is right now chilling here. Chilling up at the front. Getting himself a gateway. Just chilling. And starting to advance forward, and oh my gosh, running headlong into enemy fire and pulling right on back again. This is kind of similar to what we saw White Raw do in that first BabyKnight game, but look at this. Chrono boost out as fast as he can, an Oracle. Also, Chrono boost out as fast as he can, a Mothership core. And there's the Warp Gate finishing up. I will let you know right off the bat that Chef, or however you say it, is going for a super fast triple Warp Gate thing, where he's going to have like a bunch of Stalkers really fast. He's going to be at 8. These ones are not registering yet. He's going to be at 8 Stalkers really early, but watch, watch. Yes.
Strings attuned.
This is a very elegantly executed game. Defends all the stuff at the front. Defends, starting to maybe get on the risk of losing. Uh-oh, more units sweeping in, that's fine. Counterattack in the main base almost completely ends this game right here. Sure, there's some micro action going on up there. White Rock conservatively pulls back. And that's that, man. Look at that. 36 to 20 food in the worker count, 16 to 25. Excellent. Excellent, 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 excellent. Love it, love it, love it. Let's continue to step forward. We have the beginnings of a Zealot Archon Void Ray composition. White Raw moves out smartly. Why? Because if White Raw encounters an army, he can do whatever and then move this Oracle in the back. So by having this Oracle in the back, White Raw knows that this advance forward is actually very safe. So White Raw's going Nexus and getting a Mothership core out. So he'll have enough energy for that big ol' Cannon Nexus upgrade if he so needs. Not trying to force this Oracle in by any means. Chillin'. Leaving a Stalker here, so that way if he sees an attack, he can get that Oracle in there. Oh yeah. And there we start to see the Void Ray production get started from White Raw. This I do like. Why is this different than in the last game? Because in this game we're starting our Void Ray production much earlier, comparatively. Hallucinated Phoenix to walk on in, just to make sure that our Oracle actually does have a clear window, and to see exactly what's up. By the way, an Oracle destroys a Stalker. I think an Oracle can kill 2 Stalkers, provided that the Stalkers come one at a time. Actually, I'm almost certain that's true. So White Raw also getting to do his continued pushes forward. He's getting another Twilight Council, or excuse me, he's getting his first Twilight Council so he can start to round off his tech. Going for this Zealot Archon type stuff. Oracle pops in, doesn't do so much. This Oracle in the back chilling, 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 chilling. I'm just gonna zoom this game forward a little bit. White Raw is just controlling this game. He is just shutting it down. Same tactic we're gonna see used yet again. Big army at the front, Oracle at the back. There's the unbelievably winning Oracle. And now he has a nice Zealot Archon Void Ray mixture. Yeah. He's going to move into attack really soon, and it's going to win the game. Come on, do it.